Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privilege we are? Immigrants. But I am a perspective guy, and that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective.
Bill Maher recently unloaded on the left for what he sees as a growing habit of openly hating America, and he didn't mince words. Coming off last year's elections, a loud segment of liberals didn't just criticize conservatives, they proudly cut off half the country altogether. Maher warned that this kind of tantrum politics isn't just childish, it's politically suicidal. On Real Time he laid out a blunt reminder. When you decide that everyone who voted for Trump is beyond redemption, you're not just rejecting a party. You're rejecting the country itself. And that's where Democrats start losing the plot. That was Maher's point, and it landed hard.
Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective. 72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land.
This is Maher at his most effective, calmly dismantling narratives that have gone unchallenged for far too long. For years, activists and media figures have insisted that black Americans are living in a country stacked entirely against them, with fewer opportunities and no real future. It's a grim storyline that gets repeated until it sounds like fact. Maher pushed back by citing actual data rather than emotional talking points. Polls show many black Americans believe their lives are improving, feel hopeful about the future, and say they would not want to live anywhere else in the world. That doesn't mean racism is gone or problems don't exist. It means the reality is far more nuanced than the constant doom messaging suggests. Maher's argument is simple. When politics relies on fear instead of facts, it stops helping the people it claims to defend.
But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgements where they say, I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe, I say either give it back or
Maher is clearly done pretending that performative wokeness serves any real purpose. He goes straight after the rituals that have become sacred on the left, especially land acknowledgements. If you truly believe the land you're standing on was stolen, Maher argues, then follow that belief to its logical conclusion. Give it back. If you're not willing to do that, then stop pretending a scripted acknowledgement means anything. His criticism isn't aimed at Native Americans. It's aimed at empty gestures that require no sacrifice and produce no change. These performances exist to signal virtue, not to deliver justice. Maher sees them as insulting theater, designed to soothe elite guilt while leaving real problems untouched. And that, in his view, is the defining feature of modern woke politics. Loud symbolism paired with zero accountability.
But again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privilege we are? Immigrants.
Maher then contrasts that mindset with how immigrants actually see America. For many people who come here legally, the United States isn't some irredeemable nightmare. It's an opportunity they fought hard to reach. These are people who have lived under corruption, violence, censorship, or economic collapse. Compared to that, America still represents freedom, safety, and upward mobility. That's why Maher finds it frustrating when privileged activists casually trash the country that immigrants are grateful to join. And timing matters. Much of this sudden America hatred didn't peak until Trump won. If the election had gone the other way, the same voices would likely be praising the nation's values again. Immigrants notice that contradiction immediately. They understand the difference between legitimate criticism and political bitterness disguised as moral outrage.
Ask any of them why they came here, and they will tell you the same thing. Ron DeSantis put me on a plane. But they will also tell you that America, for all that's so shitty about it right now, is still the last best hope. And those people asking for our votes to take it over should remember.
That contradiction is impossible to ignore. If America is truly racist, broken, and irredeemable, why is the left pushing so aggressively to make it easier for people to move here? You can't argue that the country is fundamentally evil while treating it like a destination everyone should want to reach. If they genuinely believed their own rhetoric, the logical response would be to discourage immigration, not encourage it. But they don't, because even they know the truth. America still offers freedoms and opportunities most of the world simply doesn't. Their policies reveal what their words try to hide. The outrage is performative. The reality is that America is still worth coming to, worth fighting over, and worth building a future in.
If, for your exile, you do wind up in some comparatively luxurious place like Canada or Japan or the UK, not that they want you. At best, you'll be trading a bunch of stuff you hate about this country for a bunch of stuff you'll soon hate about your new home. It took me only 4 days in Amsterdam to learn that while I admire Amsterdam, I don't want to live there. The buildings are cramped and shaped like needles. The food is awful. The TV's in a different language. It's wet and cold. The people are polite but cold, and they do a bunch of... The explanation for, according to my friend, was just remember they're high.
Strip away the noise and one thing becomes clear. America remains an exceptional country, flawed but fundamentally different from much of the world. Free speech, due process, dissent, and opportunity are not global norms. They are rare privileges. Maher's frustration taps into how casually these freedoms are dismissed by people who have never lived without them. You cannot openly insult leaders, break norms, protest endlessly, and then claim you live under tyranny. Perspective matters. Immigrants have it. People from authoritarian regimes have it. America's loudest critics often don't. That doesn't mean the country shouldn't improve. It means improvement starts with honesty, not exaggerated self-loathing. When people forget how rare freedom is, losing it becomes dangerously easy.
Arbitrary detentions are widespread in Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Nicaragua. If you're wondering how that's just like no cash bail, it's not.
That's the piece many miss entirely. Even countries often praised as more enlightened don't offer the same protections Americans enjoy. In the United States, free speech is a right. In places like the UK, speech can be investigated or restricted based on subjective harm standards. That shocks Americans because it clashes with what freedom is supposed to mean. This isn't about defending cruelty or chaos. It's about recognizing how quickly freedom erodes once the government decides which opinions are acceptable. America's system isn't perfect, but its protections are unusually strong. Maher's warning is clear. When people treat those protections with contempt, they won't realize what they've lost until it's gone. And that's a lesson history keeps teaching whether we're willing to listen or not.